I know it's
Good
Oh, there we go.
Tuesday.
Broadcast is live.
Hello, everyone. Hello. I'll give everybody a chance to get in here. Randy, we do want to
come on
start.
in.
Yeah.
Oh, there's our ID. Just had
Yeah.
my telephone go off. Standards and practices are online. It's good.
Well, that's one of our jokes that it seems like our phones always go off when we do something or say something.
Yeah, when we say something wrong,
Yeah.
phone goes off.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. It's like standards and practices.
It's because they know.
Yeah,
Anyway.
you goofed up. What'd you say?
Yep.
We actually though we just like last week. We have to actually start this broadcast on a somber note.
We don't
Uh,
have to start it yet. You got to still roll the beautiful bean footage, and we need to introduce ourselves.
well, I guess I can
How do you
start.
want to start on a downer for?
Yeah, okay. All right, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna roll the footage. Everybody, stay with us because we gotta roll
Roll it.
our intro. The show doesn't start till the intro starts, right?
There we go. Hang
So
on.
anything I say before then,
Yeah.
yeah. I see. I see. Dreaded Dinosaur is actually in there, but I see his room. But I don't see him yet. So we'll check him out when we come back from the introduction. Here we go.
Okay. Here we.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I don't see Eric yet. He's doing the Ethan. Okay.
He's doing an Ethan.
Yeah. All right. So, hello, everyone. Hello, 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 hello.
Hey, everybody.
I am having a great Tuesday, and now you are too because IndieVolt Live is started. Has started. Hello, everyone. My name is Varian Grant, co-owner of Last Call Comics for the last 7 years. Co-owner, right? I said co-owner, didn't I? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said co-owner. And
Co-founder,
yeah,
co-owner.
yeah, and founder of IndieVolt Media LLC. I got my start making comics way back in 2008. That's right. That's around the time we still had 3G internet. Yeah, it was horrible. My first book published was a black and white interior action comedy called Psycho Sirens. I am a father, a husband, a geek, a creator, a publisher, a reluctant taxpayer, an artist. Shamefully not in that order. And you're watching IndieVolt Live. Tonight, I'm joined by, of course, Lola. She's always here. Lola
There
Way.
she is.
She's like silent Lola. We should name her that.
Lola the Silent.
Yeah.
Somebody else is already using that title.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
get there. We'll get there in a second.
Okay. And then go ahead, Randy.
Hello, everybody. I'm Randy Zimmerman. I've been printing alternative and independent comics for a long, long time. Arrow Comics, Massive Comics, Weeby Comics. I've done a lot of self-publishing, done just about everything in the direct market except for distribution. So retailed for a number of years. Met my wife when I was working at a retail shop or comic shop. And now I'm an award-winning commercial artist, graphic artist. I do a lot of sequential artwork for a lot of customers, local and national. And for the last 10 years, I was doing Flint Comics and Entertainment, which is a little comic and entertainment newspaper that was circulated around the Flint and Genesee County area. Went through 10,000 copies every month. It stopped it after 100 issues because the economy's a little rough here in Flint. And it was kind of hard to find advertisers. But other than that, I also do the Zim Geek channel on YouTube right now. I'm still doing commercial artwork and hoping to get back into this comic stuff. So back in looking at the market. So I want to do some crowdfunding as soon as I possibly can. So is that it? My first works were Tales from the Universe, Arrow Comics, War of the Worlds from Calibur Press. Printed a lot of stuff myself. Known for Spank the Monkey, Varian just disappeared. And Hero Bot Zero, Lindy Jacks, all sorts of different things. Like to keep the variety running. So since Varian is gone, Bill, why don't you introduce yourself and tell people what's up?
Hey, everyone. My name is Bill Coulombe. I am the writer and creator of a independent superhero story called Kinetic. I'll actually hold it up for you if I can get this on.
That's an entire series, right?
That's an entire series. This is the proof for Volume 1 that we have live on Kickstarter right now. So it's the actual trade paperback.
Awesome. Make sure they can see that cover.
Yeah.
And that's on Kickstarter right now?
Yeah, this is on Kickstarter right now.
How many issues is in that book?
It's an oversized trade paperback with 8 issues.
Cool.
So it has 192 pages and
awesome.
first 8 issues.
Yep. And that's on Kickstarter.
That is on Kickstarter. Yes, sir.
Under Kinetic.
That's if you go to kineticcomic.com, it'll take you right there.
There we go. Awesome. And what's the Kickstarter? How long does the Kickstarter have yet to go? And how far are you on your goal?
Kickstarter is going until the 16th of December. I didn't really want to step on Christmas. I didn't want to fight Santa Claus.
I hear you.
And it's been live now for a week, and we are about just over half funded, 50%.
Awesome.
Nice.
Sweet. And it looks really good. Those covers are awesome. The interiors look great.
Oh yeah, Jason Metcalf did the covers, and man, he just got picked up to do his first cover with DC Comics. He did a variant for Batman the Max Arkham Dreams.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. All right, and also joining us today is Evan.
Hi, guys. I'm Evan Pozios. I am a former attorney who is now destined to become a comics creator. I am the writer and co-creator of Time Grunts, published by Calibur Comics. Arts by Alex Sanchez. Here's Volume 1, and Volume 2 recently came out.
Cool. And how big are those?
Each trade is 4 issues.
And are those offered through Diamond right now?
They are. They are available in local comic shops. They're available at Comixology digitally and also on Amazon and the Calibur website.
Awesome. Awesome. And how long has what is it, Time Grunts, right?
Time Grunts, yes.
Time Grunts. How long has Time Grunts been out?
Time Grunts was self-published since 2017. We were published by Calibur in early 2018.
Cool. That's awesome. So Eric treating you good?
Treat me great. Love what he's doing over there. We've got some great titles. Actually, recently, a Calibur writer has been signed to a Marvel exclusive, Torrin Grobeck, who writes Ageless.
Okay.
She'll be doing Valkyrie with Jason Aaron.
And we just lost. We just lost Bill.
Push Bill out of the picture.
Yeah, you push Bill out. No, he's coming back. No, and now it's just us.
Just us.
Who knows? It's musical chairs, Evan.
You
It's
want
musical
to
chairs.
arm wrestle?
Yeah, there we go. Oh, wrong arm.
There you go.
Lola's coming back in, but we'll get everybody else back in. Plus, we have Eric coming in. Bill's back in. Thank you, Bill. Eric's going to be coming in here in a minute. Evan, tell us more about Time Grunts.
Sure. Time Grunts, we like to pitch it as Dirty Dozen meets Time Bandits. I grew up watching old war movies with my dad, sort of Guns of Navarone type of stuff, Bridge over River Kwai. So we wanted to combine that element along with some things I enjoyed from childhood, G.I. Joe, Quantum Leap, Time Bandits, and love history, a little bit of choose your own adventure sort of flavor to it as well.
Cool. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's been fun to work with Alex and Patrick on it. We're having a blast.
How much is each volume?
Each volume is $18.99.
So that's cool. How many? And they're how thick? You said. I think you already said, but
Right. Each is 4 issues. Volume 1, I believe, is 96 pages. Volume 2 is 104.
cool.
Can you guys hear me, by the way?
So, yeah, you're good. You're good. We can't see you very well because your camera is low light.
Yeah.
Or Lola's camera.
I took over Lola's section. Sorry.
We see that. Lola's trying to get you back up online.
You kind of blend into the background there.
Yeah.
Racism.
And Eric's cattail looks like the tail on your hat. So it just popped up. And also joining us is Eric. Eric, say hello.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Good to be
Introduce
back.
yourself. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Eric Hodson. I'm a longtime independent comic book creator. Currently working on Roddy Piper and the Kilted Avenger, which will be coming out early next year, distributed by Pro Wrestling Tees. I have a webtoon called Dreaded Dinosaur Man. I'm kind of famous for my wrestling art and enjoy drawing anime as well.
Cool. Varian, did you want to take over?
Well, I'm trying to pull up some of my
Some of your
content,
questions?
but I can kind of we got We got chat here. Let's see here. We got some people in the chat. Hello, Ted. Ted Davies says hello, gang.
What's up, Ted?
Yeah,
What's up, Ted?
I have been lax. Josh Lyman's even in the chat.
Whoa.
Go ahead and read those, Randy. While I'm trying to
All
get
right.
this stuff.
Let me get there. Ted says hello. Josh says, Randy, number one culprit of that from my experience. What? I'm not sure what that is. It's morning here. What's your excuse? Good morning. All right.
Josh is from the future right now.
Josh is from the future. Yeah.
It's Tuesday.
He is over in Korea. So, and in the chat, Zach Davis says, I miss Flint Comics. Zach, I miss it too. Thanks for the kind words. Josh says, hi, my name is Bill, and I send emails to artists, buds, asking if I'm going to a show instead of using instant messenger like everyone else.
In my defense, man, I didn't know he was on Messenger. I gotta shoot you a friend request, Josh.
That's his excuse, and he's sticking to it. The thickness of them books. Yes. Aspects. Trico is in the house. Sorry he's late. Trico, you haven't missed much. We all introduced ourselves. That's about it. Hello, troll. Josh says, Andrea.
Even that's my editor and creator of the Shepherd there.
Your pretty sketch?
He's probably right.
Yeah.
How's it going, Andrea?
We want to thank everybody in the chat. Feel free to chime in. We'll pay closer attention to that. We just have a little bit of technical difficulties with Varian right now while he gets coordinated. So
Varian's a technical difficulty.
I am. It's a wonder that I have anything working. Yeah, I'm gonna stay here for now until because my computer for some reason waited till I went live and then shut me down.
Fritzed out again.
The good news is that I'm now at Lola Station, which means our views drop. But
Jason Moore is in the chat. Hello, Jason. How you doing?
Hey, Jason.
What's up, Jason?
All right, I'm gonna bring up some questions for you guys, and then
Andrea says that Evan is cool.
Feel free to mute him at any time.
I don't know, man.
That's all right. We love everybody in the chat. That's it. Being in the chat makes it easy, so we can just.
It's just good to see people are here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zach
Andrea
Davis
looks pretty scary as the Shepherd when he's in cosplay. I don't mess with him. He's.
I thought Zach was in there. Yeah, he's in there. He said he misses Flint Comics, Draco. Anyway, your questions, Variant?
Yeah, I'm pulling them up now.
All right.
I'm pulling them up now and then doing sign language.
This last week, we've had some pretty interesting things in the news pop up as far as comics go.
Yeah, we have. In fact, one of our questions starts with one of those things from our good friend L. Nolan.
L. Nolan.
He is back. That's right. L. Nolan is back, and I'm bringing the question right now. Give me 1 minute.
Where people can get up into the chat and ask us questions. People can pop up where? Where is your Ask Me Anything app? Right?
Yeah,
under IndieVolt.
It's actually on IndieVolt Radio.
IndieVolt Radio,
which I'm gonna have a time accessing today because it's on my computer. But let's see here.
Computers are down. Yeah.
Randy, go ahead and read it.
Here it comes. Hey, gang, going to discuss the Diamond data dump? If so, how about you debate the legal ramifications, if any, that Diamond will face now that Marvel's sales figures are public? Hey, second, can you imagine how low indie numbers are now? L. Nolan. No, thanks for writing in, L. Nolan. And if I can start off with that, yeah, we're going to discuss that data dump. Of course we are. It's in the news, and we want to discuss it. I don't think Diamond's going to hit any ramifications. I don't think those are numbers that Marvel, quite frankly, cares about, to tell you the honest truth. That who knows or who knows what. Diamond's probably a little worried now that everybody can see their sales base. That would be a lot more of a concern of mine than if I was Diamond than worried about what Marvel's going to say. It's pretty obvious when you analyze those figures, anybody who wanted to open that file and take a look, just how just how low Marvel can go. So
Yeah. Plus, if there's any sort of devious behavior by anybody that got a hold of that data dump, there's a liability issue right there for Diamond, which could sink them.
yeah. Well, another thing that we found interesting, or I found interesting, is that there's a large amount of personal residences that Diamond has been servicing with Marvel product. And that can't be making the retailers very happy, people that actually have storefronts.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these guys are mail order, which is understandable, running a business, but some of these guys are personal residences. There's even one guy who just got one book for 75 cents. So, and this is Marvel. This is the amount of Marvel product was in that file. The amount of Marvel product that was moving out to these different customers that Diamond has. And also, amazingly, Diamond only has 2,447, I think it is, customers that are carrying Marvel products all over the world.
Wow.
Billions of people, 2,400 customers.
Well, I'll tell
that
you,
should make the entire industry a little nervous.
Yeah, going to your comment that you don't really think that Marvel really cares about these sales numbers, I'll tell you that creepy video of the here's everything you can buy for the holidays for your Marvel fan, which included 0 comics, really backs that up too.
But it did have life-changing socks.
Oh yeah,
Life-changing socks.
If your life is changed by socks, you need a new life.
Did you guys get to see that video from Marvel Entertainment? Evan, Bill?
I didn't know.
No? Oh, you definitely need to watch it. We could probably pull it up if we were a little bit more tech savvy. What do you think, Varian? You got more stuff?
Yeah, I got some more questions, but in relation to this question, I'm starting to wonder, guys, too. That data that was released seemed to me like it may have been done like maliciously. Like, I wonder, was anybody at Diamond just upset and want to get the info out?
Well, the atmosphere at Diamond hasn't been very good the last couple of years from the rumors that we've heard.
Yeah.
That's just hearsay, though.
Yeah, I know.
In relation,
a disgruntled employee wouldn't be the first time somebody in a corporation, did a accidental data dump.
Yeah, recently Diamond's been going through a pretty big shakeup, right? There's been people moving to different positions and people getting promoted, people leaving the company lately, hasn't there?
That's kind of a constant. So that's not unusual.
Yeah, Diamond installed a revolving door a long time ago.
Another amazing thing that was in that file is that there are 6 representatives servicing all the 2,400 and whatever clientele in order to make sure things run smooth between them and Diamond. Only 6. So that seems to be a little light.
That seems to explain why there's books being put on the shelf.
Yeah, it's kind of like checking out at a Walmart.
You leave Walmart out of this. I'm just kidding. Now. All right.
I'll attack Walmart every chance I get. Anyway, never mind.
There goes that sponsorship. All right.
Yeah. God, we love Walmart. And they're exclusive. Who do we just lose?
No, you just took the question out.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
I saw the board shift. I thought, somebody just jumped off.
No. All right, there we go.
Bill and Evan, you got any input on that?
Well, if I could go first, I think Diamond's format is sort of archaic. I mean, with individual creators being able to kickstart like Bill. Like Patrick and I did with Johnny Phantasm. We did a successful Indiegogo campaign. You really don't need, the middleman. You can go direct to the consumer. You can go direct from, creator to the public. So I think you're going to see major changes coming up, even with the big 2, in the near future.
I don't know if that'll work.
I mean, theoretically, you could put a Kickstarter out there with, say, Tom King as a writer, Jim Lee as an illustrator, and leave Diamond out of the picture entirely.
Yeah.
And if you see that something's not going to get funded, you just don't waste your printing costs.
I hear you. Yep. That's very true. Bill, what do you think?
This is actually today's just coming on here. This is the first I heard about this data dump. I've actually been looking up on my phone.
Well, we should tell everybody anyway, just in case there's people out there that aren't aware of it, of what's been happening. They're out of the news loop or whatever. What happened is there seemed to have been a file pop up that Diamond sent out to some retailers, though they asked them not to open it. Please don't open that file. But that file had all of the information of all of the transactions between Marvel and Diamond, and between Diamond and the retail customers of Marvel product. So if anybody ever wanted to know who Marvel was distributing to, and even how to get a hold of them, apparently, and how much they were moving, and how much over the last year that they had moved, that was all in that file.
Please, yeah, that's
so
great.
Now everybody's now, it kind of hung the dirty laundry out to dry for everybody to look at. We now have Josh here. Are you still over? Are you from Korea, Josh?
I am.
Awesome. What
Testing out the magic of technology.
Yeah, there you go. You look and you sound good.
You sound better than all of us.
Yeah.
You from your phone or?
No, this is just my Surface Pro, and then I got my my normal mic.
Mr. Varian's back in.
Going on 11:25 here.
I froze.
AM or PM?
He's like, AM.
Awesome.
Hence the sunlight.
You never know.
Can you guys hear me though?
Could just be awesome lights. Yes, we can hear you fine, Varian.
Yeah, you can hear me.
We can't even see you.
You look better than you've ever looked, man.
Yeah.
It's like you're inside the turkey.
Yeah, I'm frozen. All right, but that's okay.
You are.
Yeah, that's okay. I still have control. So
get over it. No, let it go. Yeah, let it go.
He's the man behind the mask.
Yeah. All right.
So quick jumping in. I apologize, Varian.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the Marvel numbers and everything else, pardon me for being the skeptic, but I always feel like it's one of those things where, like, there's always the ploy of, oh no, everyone's making fun of the Captain Marvel movie. You should go see it to increase its numbers. I don't believe anything distributed by Disney or Disney's distributors. Oh no, it was accidentally released. Please. Right now, they have been canceling how many titles?
Marvel? Nothing.
No, they've easily canceled at least 30 titles.
Have they?
Yeah.
What's that happened within the last couple of weeks?
X-Men 23s. No, during the last 2 months.
Okay.
It's one of those things where, we may have this impulse where it's like this one thing happened, but it's like, okay, look at the back history of what's been happening beforehand and what should be happening. It's convenient that, look, we're suddenly retiring all of our distribution for these things, but we're also working with Archie Comics and distributing still again. We mentioned this a couple of episodes ago. They're actually working on doing more of those digest issues with the older books. And it's just one of those things where, there's other information.
That would only be great for the newsstands. So.
Exactly. But at the same time, it would work for stores, too. If they get that impulse buy for the kid, the kid's not stuck in the magazine section, possibly looking at something they shouldn't be looking at.
Well, if they watch
but I digress.
If Archie watches their reprints, it could be incredibly good for everybody.
I mean, if they do it right, and hey, if they get IDW has is it IDW or Boom that has Sonic right now?
I think IDW does.
Okay.
I think
if it's IDW, because Archie is they've still got their own property of Sonic to play with. But other thing I could touch on is with the indie distributors, how low it is. I'm pretty sure that Bill was touching on that already when I was coming in. I had swapped the devices, but it was basically hey, with the ability of crowdfunding, they don't need to go into Diamonds, and they don't need to go and distribute that way. The manufacturer or the dealer can just go directly to the person and go, hey, I need 200 copies of Lady Death Variant D. But anyways, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we for Johnny Phantasm, we even had a comic book shop perk where they could get discounted books if they bought in bulk. So that's something we sold to a publisher.
Yeah, there's a lot of crowdfunders that do that offer discounts.
We sell them
10,
in
25
bricks.
books. Yeah, sell them in bricks.
I don't know about your guys' experience with Diamond, but I've submitted over with Kinetic, I think 3 or 4 times. I've never heard anything back. Not even a form rejection.
Yeah, you have to stay on them and track it down. If you're not getting a response from them, they don't want you. So at least that was my experience with them. But like I said, I've been doing a newspaper the last 10 years because I was fed up with Diamond. That was the main reason why I started looking for other avenues. Mr. Wright sends us a question. Josh, did you want to finish up?
No. I was.
You're about
I was
to
all
jump in.
prepped.
Okay.
No, you're good.
All right. Mr. Wright sends another question. We're simply seeing the results of participation trophy winners, indigo children and empaths coming of age and entering the workforce by way of the entertainment industry. They'll grow tired of it because, as Ray in Ghostbusters said years ago, I've worked in the private sector. They expect results.
So
Mr. Wright.
I'm just going to infer that this statement is saying, like, okay, people aren't taking the time and effort to go out to the publishers that are already there, and so they're not actually taking the time, and so they're trying to focus on the social media aspect of it, of Instagram and Facebook, and doing videos with Kickstarter and stuff.
I think they're talking about people working inside the mainstream. Getting hired
mainstream
in,
comics,
coming of age and entering the workforce by way of the entertainment industry.
Oh well, that's a whole other kettle of fish.
It is.
Do you want to know how you get hired in comic books?
You make comic books.
Real. No, not even that. You wish. I like your optimism. What you do is you go to an event for comic books and you bring your stuff on your phone just in case. But then you go out for a ridiculously overexpensive meal for no darn reason. And then somewhere in the middle of the conversation about sports and everything not related to comic books, somebody at that table is going to be a distributor or a publisher or in charge of cover choices and be like, hey, man, so we need like 5 covers next year. You think you can help us out? Eric and I have been sitting there while this kind of stuff is happening.
Yep,
And you're like, are you kidding me? Like, we're just sitting there going, why did I spend $40 on a steak? And we're like, oh, I'm not a Seahawks fan. But, joking aside, with the pessimism, it's one of those things where, yes, hard work and making comics is proof of concept and you have it with you. But more and more these days, the modern industry has rapidly changed.
You can't apply. You have to be seen.
Yep.
Apparently,
be visual.
Varian jumped out again. So, and took his question with him. Anyway,
I mean, I've seen frankly, I've seen Evan, I've seen Bill. I mean, Eric and me, we tour together. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we're getting our face out there. Eric's out at those wrestling shows specifically because he wants those wrestling gigs, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's doable. My problem is I like video games, and video games pay worse than comic books. So it's like, well, maybe I need to find a new hobby.
That's a surprise.
Unless you make your own game and it becomes a big hit on Steam, and then you can bank on that.
Yeah, I know, right? And then Chuck E. Cheese will get rid of their animatronics thanks to the overpopularity of your program. But back to Marvel.
Well,
Josh, what's up?
Not much.
You just joined us. How is everything over there?
To be honest, I've been kind of just low key, kind of working, mostly resting. Actually, I've been going to the gym every single day. Every couple of days, I'll take like a rest day and do some cardio.
Yeah.
I got out for the first time a couple of days ago, and I went to the National Museum of Korea again.
Cool.
And the National Museum here it's a little different in the capacity that it's not just random pieces of art and things like that. It's it's sculpture and it tells the history. Yay, he's back.
We can hear you, bud.
Yay, he's alive.
yeah, and at some point in time, he went to a really awesome manga store and started taunting me with all this stuff that isn't readily available over here.
Oh, that's the best part. Is it's not a manga store. That's just the mall. That's just part of the mall. So what's interesting, if you look at it from a sales capacity, is that there are several floors in this particular mall that are designed to be like Comic-Con, like dead serious. Like you get a designated space that you pay for, and it's almost like that middle area of a mall where you see the independent vendors, except they get like a 10 by 20 or a 10 by 40 space, and these people pay their yearly fee to rent out that space and sell stuff. Mm-hmm. And there's a ridiculous amount of customs, like 3D modelers and makers and things like that here. So you get to see stuff that's produced, of course, in China and Japan. But you also get to see stuff like there's a studio I've never heard of in the U.S. called King Kong Studios.
Huh.
And their entire production line is literally like, full like Hot Toys variants of Iron Man and stuff like that were never made.
That's cool.
And their quality is very on par. It's fantastic. So it's just it's fun looking at that. And then with the anime, that was just like the Barnes and Nobles. That's a place called SK. I go there because I can get Staedtler ink pens for $12 for 7 pens. Little things. Taunt. That's the real.
When are you going to read that one?
What you got? Another one?
Pull it up there. It's not popping up now. Oh, there it was. Let's see.
Jim, Evan, feel free to interject as much as possible.
I was just wondering, to Josh,
There it is.
what does what's the demand like for Western comics, graphic novels there? From
It's
your
very minimal.
Okay.
So it's one of those weird things. So like, I'll let Randy read this first, and then I'll touch on that.
Well, no, let's touch on it first, Josh.
Okay, cool.
We can sit on the questions. Not a problem.
Works for me. Yeah. So as far as like comic books here, there's certain stereotypes in the United States that we seem to have, where like, oh, hey, anything that comes over to China or comes over to Korea or Japan, it's all going to be ripped off, or it's all going to be mass produced. And there are some things that are like that. Like here's Mickey Mouse, but he's slightly a different color, or his pants are blue instead. There are a couple of those things, but as far as like actual comic books, it really comes down to if it's in their language. Like there's very, very few books that have been translated into Hangul, as far as that's concerned. So it's like looking in, seeing this. One of the easier things here for translation is like, for example, for people who do like manga and things like that, translation for that is that you just have this huge empty block. You don't have to readjust it for that lettering system. They just copy and paste it. My computer just went dead on me there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you kind of froze for a sec, but you're back.
That was North Korea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's I'm plugged into a battery source, but it was being persnickety on me for some reason.
That long distance connection. Yeah.
But as far as like the books themselves, there are some here, but it's interesting to see what is here. For example, there's no Walking Dead, and there's no Chew, and there's no any of that. But Marvel's got a fairly steady distribution here. I haven't seen a lot of DC comics. I saw some when I was on Post, but it's like Aquaman and things like that, where it's like here's the movie variant cover, and then the interior is classic Arthur Perry, clean shaven, gold outfit, so on and so forth. So
the good reprints.
Yeah, like the stuff that sells well, is here.
Yeah.
And it's
not here though.
Conundrum.
Yeah.
Like I said, for like the toys, for example, like that Iron Man thing, like there's a following here. It's just much like with Europe, Asia is a place where people have very small amount of space. So if they do have their fan art and things up, they don't have walls and walls of posters distributed, and things like that. They're collecting like records and little mini figurines and like, toys that are like maybe this size. Like even when I come here, it's that situation. But thank you for asking. It's one of those things where I look forward to seeing more. It's just the actual comic book shops that I've seen around here primarily focus on what sells, much like in the US.
Right. Yeah. You're back in live, Varian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to pop that question up now. No, go ahead, Josh.
Oh, no, super quick. Just what's interesting is Repop actually has a Seoul Comic Con.
Okay.
And if you have a chance this last weekend while everybody in the U.S. was at Designer Con and everything else, Tokyo Comic Con was going on.
Yeah.
And because it's so close to here, people were flying to that. So if you want an idea of what sells and what moves, there's some salt I can...
I really want to do Tokyo Comic Con. That would be
Tokyo Comic Con. I'll message you later about that because there's a certain artist that somehow got guested there, but that's another topic. Anyways, quotes, questions.
Here we go. Our next question from Olivia W. Hey guys, I like the show, but disagree 1001% on your combined hot takes on cosplayers, and many others believe that cosplayers professional and novice have not only saved the comic convention industry, but revived it. My only complaint is that we should be tipped like Hollywood Boulevard actors. Olivia.
Now, was this after my opinion on cosplayers?
It probably
I
came
got
in after that.
I received this. This would have came in Saturday.
Yep.
Okay, so this was you guys must have had something going on last week that I missed about
Probably.
cosplayers.
Well, yeah, Randy digs the cosplayers all the time. So.
I think first and foremost, I would say Olivia, if you have a chance, Varian could probably find out what exact episode it is. But we actually had a more serious discussion as far as like, hey, getting into cosplay and things like that. Why should I or shouldn't I, and things like that. And we touched on it. I know I did. From the other side of the coin, where it's like, look, I've dated somebody in that perspective, and no, it's harder than it is. But I don't know. If you haven't been to Cosplay Row or anything recently with cosplayers, a lot of them have tip jars, and they'll be like, "Hey, quick photo. Here's a tip jar. You know, if you want to buy an actual photo." Like the photo rights that's a whole other Messerschmitt. Like the photographers, some of them are just skeevy, and they'll be like, "Well, you know, if you pose this way, then I'll give you all the high resolution photos for you. Otherwise, you have to pay me my normal rate."
Well,
you know, or some
is she talking about the professional cosplayers, or is she talking about people who just dress up and show up? And
that's what I think she's talking about. I think she's talking about the regular people who just walk around.
I mean, if you're throwing on Party USA,
right. Oh, let me give you a tip. Fun fact: this actually happened at a Chicago show. I don't remember what the cosplay was, but I think Eric told me about it, or Levi, or someone else in our field, where somebody had dressed up in a very actually well done costume, and she was considered attractive. And it was one of those things where people would walk up to her, and then she would press people for tips, or be like, "Oh, it's $20 for a photo." And then it turned out she was also working for a local ladies of the evening, whatever have you thing. But that goes up there with that massage thing you mentioned before. Yeah. And cosplay is OnlyFans and Patreon and all those other wonderful services that, you know, if you really want that, just go do that.
Ted Davies says it's cosplay, not cosplay.
Bill, I think I see you about to chime in. And Bill and Evan, you guys got any opinions on that? Cosplayers at shows?
Oh, well, I just wanted to point out. I was saying we were wondering whether it was professional or just, you know, the people who dress up and come there. And she says right in there, you know, professional and novice.
You know, I think there's room for everyone, and there are different shows that cater to different types of fans. I mean, I did Memphis Comic Expo, and you saw very few cosplayers. It was much more about the comics and the creators. And then you do a show like MegaCon Orlando, and it's, you know, packed with cosplayers. I will say, you know, there was an artist who tabled next to us in Orlando, and he had a cosplayer with him to sort of draw in traffic, and I think it actually had the opposite effect. You had a couple of people just jamming up his table so people couldn't look at the artwork. But in general, I mean, I wouldn't say that they saved comic conventions by any stretch, but I think there's room for everybody.
Way back, a couple of decades ago, the outside of the masquerade parties that they used to have after after the Huckster's Room was closed off, the cosplay really started with Vampirella, trying to attract people over to the table, and it kind of grew out from there, you know. And then we had a whole series of Bad Girl books, or, you know, I called it the Circle Template era, where they had people come in
and stuff like that.
No, that was before the Rawhide Kid stuff.
Red Sonja was pretty big during that too.
That was even before that. I mean, the chainmail bikinis used to be really big at the masquerade parties and the after parties after the show. But for somebody to actually walk around the convention dressed as a character.
That's our family Thanksgiving attire, actually.
Yeah.
Go. Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? I would say neoprene and, you know, all that. That's, you know, it's machine washable better than clothing sometimes. But I don't know. If I take it from a general term, I would say a lot of things helped revive the Comic-Con industry in that capacity. Yes, bringing in the the cosplayers did help a little bit as far as like an attraction level to bring other people in who are not 100% sure on costumes, or, you know, they just want to try something different and not be ridiculed.
But isn't it
at the same time,
it was more of an oddity.
Yeah, and that's
You
one
know?
of those things. As much like pops or fidget spinners or things like that, you have to find out what the next level is. Even with art, you have to find out. Okay, so do I go full sculpts? Like for a very, very brief time, we had this obsession where they kept trying to one up each other with cosplays and armors, but they're all trying to figure out what the next thing is because they're all trying to learn, basically electronics and computer coding. To bring the next level of cosplay up. Like if you go to a BlizzCon or something like that, when they have these competitions, they have amateurs, semi-pro, pro, and then they have like expert level. And expert level is when you're sitting there going, yeah, my wings fold and they flap and I'm in character the entire time. I am playing the character. With Evan, when he's talking about character, people dressing up in the costumes, yes, that can be a detriment. I had a cosplayer one time, wasn't related to my book, at my table. She was supposed to help sell things, and it didn't work out. And she just ran off and, went and hung out with Elijah Wood and whatever have you. But it was just one of those things where it's like, look, sometimes you got to experiment with that. In short, if it comes down to the comment of you should be tipped, if you're a guest at the show and someone is asking for a photo or anything like that and you have a tip jar, then by all means. But don't be, that'd be like me walking around a Comic-Con with a sketchbook and be like, oh, do you want me to draw something for you? And then, or having drawings just land randomly on my body and be like, here, you can take a piece of art and then sell it. And like that does, and be like, oh well, it's not free. You have to pay me money. Like that doesn't really work because it turns it into one of the older industries of our well, I wouldn't say generation of our species. It's the oldest profession. I'm like, well, hunter and gatherer are, but that's a whole other topic.
I've seen a whole lot of cosplayers walking around shows with cans tied around their necks, asking for tips.
It's been working really well for us.
Most of them give out cards.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
If it comes to that, I mean, that means that they've just become even a bigger distraction. Not just a distraction from their work now, but also a financial competitor.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already in Artist Alley or wherever we're at trying to sell our books. Now you have cosplayers walking around with, tip envelopes.
I mean, by the same perspective,
they'll have me. But
not to be bitter about it, but San Diego Comic-Con is 100%. It is not about comic books. It's about coming in, seeing what the new products are going to be for the next year, and then who you can spot. Is it a professional cosplayer? Is it a celebrity? Is it a voice actor dressed up as one of their characters? And that's a rabbit hole we can descend down another time. But
you won't have to look very far for life-changing socks.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness, socks.
Now, since Evan was here first, and now Evan's got his book out.
Bring it.
From Calibur, Time Grunts.
Hold that up.
I do have a picture.
Time Grunts.
One.
Oh,
awesome! There we are.
Fancy.
Evan, why don't you tell us a bit about Time Grunts?
Sure.
You see, the circles form an infinity symbol.
Very nice. Time Grunts. The illustration is by Alex Sanchez, who's done work for Marvel, DC. He's currently doing Pandemica with IDW right now, and the color and letters are by Patrick Parnell. They both went to the Kubert School together. Awesome guys. I really can't thank them enough for getting me into comics, and I've learned a ton from them. But Time Grunts, as a writer, you try and do two things. You try and entertain, and then, if you're doing it right, you evoke some sort of emotion. So I tried to include things that I loved as a kid: G.I. Joe, Time Bandits, Quantum Leap, and then sort of tell a story of brotherhood, sacrifice, and sort of our infatuation when, we would want to change something in our past, but we just can't do it. So I laid that over the theme of World War II, and what if late in the war the Nazis develop a time machine and try to alter specific points in history to their favor. So it's sort of weird war along the lines of Haunted Tank. Maybe a little bit Sergeant Rock, meets,
a little bit of Man from High Castle. an alternate story.
Sorry about that.
What'd you do?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
Sorry about
definitely-
that.
Just change the format. Everybody's still there.
That was not
definitely-
my intent. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
No, he's still there. Someone
Okay.
clicked on him.
Oh, there I
we
am.
go. You're back. I'm sorry.
It's like that game where you like smack
Yep.
hippos.
Exactly.
Whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
Push
Whack a
little
hippo.
squares
This is-
around to make
I
it.
got
This
whacked.
has, this has to be like a northern thing. And we're like, oh, well, we freeze and then we just smack hippos. You know, like
Exactly.
we had moles.
Musical chairs.
Anyways, I digress. So, Evan, you were saying with the book. So, if you don't mind me from an alternate perspective, and for anybody listening that's not going to be watching this, so it's you mentioned that it's like Quantum Leap meets Man from High Castle, World War II, going back and changing things. Nazis. I'm assuming the Nazis aren't going to be the protagonist in this case. Like it's going to be
No.
people from the U.S. side, based on the term grunts.
No.
That are
definitely,
basically invaded the time machine thing, and now they're trying to learn this without any knowledge of how to modify anything.
definitely the classic underdog, sort of similar to a Dirty Dozen type of group. And that was the most difficult thing, especially being a new writer, was to introduce that many characters with so many different personalities well. But I think we did a great job of doing that. In particular, we used sort of a Brady Bunch type of panel at some point with 12 different shots of each of the grunts, and trying to visually make each character unique with something. For instance, Motown blows bubbles, Hot Java is always drinking coffee, Sarge is sort of that gruff leader of the group. But yeah, it's awesome. It's at its base, things I enjoyed as a kid, but then also taking the emotions you kind of feel as an adult and combine the two.
Okay. Anybody else want to ask a quizzical question before me? Going once, going twice. All right. So, what made you decide on the color palette as far as so right now, again, for anybody watching / listening, right now, if you look at the book, it's very heavy. It's very classic styled as far as heavy shadows and blacks, and kind of a muted tone as far as the coloring is concerned, because it's still focusing on the line work itself.
Hold that up to the camera a little closer, Evan.
Sure.
Yep.
You can make them.
Let's take a good
I'll
look.
do my
Randy.
research
Play out, Randy.
occasionally.
Say what? Oh,
Hold on.
I said I do my
I'll
research
do it.
occasionally.
I got it.
Yep, I got him.
Actually,
Okay.
that's a great.
There we go.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, there we go. We got some nice little contrast of colors. So, is there explosion going on? I'm assuming with the splatter and everything for the heavy yellow.
Yeah,
That's
that
the start
there
of
is,
chapter 3.
Yeah, that's an
Okay.
homage cover that we did for issue 3. That's the old Mignola Death in the Family.
I thought it
cover.
looked mildly familiar. So that actually brings up a good sub comment, if I may. When you do homage covers, how prevalent do you say, "Hey, this is drawn after this person"? Do you just have the artist write it underneath what they say, or do you put it on the inside cover and say, "Hey, this cover is drawn after this as an homage"? There's
I think
what's your modus operandi as far as that's concerned?
I think we don't do it very often. Both the
Which
guys
is good.
both the guys are Mignola fans, and actually the self-published version was a different image, and Alex wanted to sort of up the ante a little bit. But we take the position that most people kind of in comics will understand that this is an homage and not sort of like borrowing from someone else.
No, of course, but do you indicate it in the publication?
No.
Okay, interesting.
Now swing over to Bill. Bill, tell us a little bit
Kinetics.
about Kinetics.
There's 6 issues.
Yeah. There's 8 issues now.
Ooh.
8 issues.
With this Kickstarter, you'll be able to get issue
Give
number
the-
8.
Give
No, it's issue number 9.
the newly listeners that just tuned in, give them a rundown on what Kinetics is.
It's basically a superhero
Sorcery.
circle. The main character, Johnny, is developing superpowers, but his city already has a hero. That hero's kind of a jerk. He doesn't really care, and Johnny thinks he can do a better job. And yeah, we're live on Kickstarter. It's been a blast being able to do this. And like Josh was saying, man, I see you at tons of shows.
Yep.
And it's just I've been very blessed to be able to do this. I remember first couple shows where I just had like one book, and I'm like, hey, I made a book. It doesn't suck, right? And then eventually started getting, you know, issue 2, issue 3, issue 5, issue 8. And it was like, okay, now I have a full series.
Cool.
Yeah, and
Been an
that brings up a
absolute
good point, because you, in this business, you really got to have some longevity. If you're just coming in and kind of trying to make a big splash and hoping to walk out with wads of cash in your pocket, you need to pick another industry, because this is one where it's, you know, you want to cultivate.
And
Cultivate.
Eric has
You're built-
frozen. There we go.
The fact that you're building and you keep putting out significant issues, that gives people of, okay, it's worth investing in this person's property because they're totally invested in it too. And it's just, I see it a lot of time when people try to do this. Yeah, with the people that see a lot of time, people try to do this and they don't get success off the bat, and then they fall away. They just don't get it. It's got to be a long-term strategy.
Yeah. I've seen so many indie creators that you see issue 1 and you might not ever see issue 2.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that didn't happen with me.
So, on a related,
But also I noticed when I started getting, you know, issue 4, issue 5 out, that was about the tipping point where it was not a lot of people, but just kind of, you could tell like it would, like something clicked in people that they said, hey, actually serious. This is something to kind of pay attention to. Versus
You felt you were starting to get a wider notice?
Yeah, it doesn't. And it felt more legitimate. It doesn't make it any more legitimate having, you know, 3 issues versus 5, but in the customer's mind, it seems to.
Right.
Because they're like, hey, this is actually a series, and there's quite a few in there.
And yep. You have a body
So,
of story
Bill-
for people to read.
So, Bill, as far as when it came to doing Kinetics, did you start off with self-publishing or did you start automatically with Kickstarter?
No, I actually started off self-publishing.
All right,
it's
and you
through
went up
Y
till
Comics.
what, issue 3, issue 4, and then migrated over, or?
No, this is actually, this is my first Kickstarter for the trade
See, there we go.
And actually,
leading
if you keep scrolling down there on the, if you keep scrolling down there on the Kickstarter, I actually pointed out when I started doing this a couple years ago, I didn't have the best opinion, the highest opinion of Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think it's right there. It was, you know, I always thought, oh, it's Kickstarter. You know, people can just, you know, you can somebody, if they were unscrupulous, can take the pledges and just walk.
Anyway, you can make that screen bigger, Varian.
I have a confession.
And-
When I started Kinetic, I didn't think very highly of Kickstarter. Way too easy for someone to walk away with my money, I thought. And I considered it a source of pride to self-fund my books. But as the platform has expanded, I had 2 epiphanies. I would never walk away with anyone's money, so what exactly is stopping me? And as the platform expanded, I had backed more and more of my fellow creators. I realized that Kickstarter is not just a funding platform. It is an awesome community. So that's epiphany number 2. I want to share my story with the awesome community, and also, let's face it, printing a 192-page graphic novel is a lot more expensive than printing the 22-page single issues. So this is going to be a compilation of the 8 issues or 4 issues or first 5, or what's going on?
Yes, this is a compilation of the 8 issues.
Oh, fantastic.
one of the-
So-
I want Josh to read me bedtime stories now.
You're welcome.
I was gonna say he said it so much better than I could have just live on stream.
I got
have
a quick
gift of
question from
gab.
the IndieVolt Ask Me Anything. Evan, it's for you. There's a writer named Jamie. She wants to know if you took any influence for Time Grunts from like, is that like a Joe?
From what? Rah, 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 rah?
You faded out there for a second. Finish your.
Would you say Time Grunts is like a harder edge G.I. Joe?
Well, he did. Evan did actually mention that he did take influence from G.I. Joe in the beginning of the interview, as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, it's definitely more graphic than G.I. Joe, and it's not like the old cartoon where a million, lasers are being shot, and no one's getting killed, and just parachutes dropping.
Rules of cartoons: as long as it's a robot and it's a laser or a zombie or some sort of monster, it's okay to kill him.
Yeah,
But
it's heavily
edgy.
influenced by the team aspect of GI Joe, I would say. In particular, to some extent, sort of the file cards on the backs of the old toys.
Nice.
But definitely more along the horror lines in terms of imagery.
So I actually have a question from an artist's perspective. Now, when it comes to World War II or anything like that, we tend to stick to our sources as far as referencing concerned. So did your artists have to go and do the research, or did you already have like a Bible created for your creation of like, this is what I want, this is what the building should look like, this is what the vehicle should look like, here's the areas that we're going to be working in, or did you have to make the artist go and look for all of that?
That's where Andrea actually stepped in and we had references in our, Dropbox file that we used for a lot of stuff, and it was correct. And then Andrea pointed out that, particular helmets, in some cases guns, needed to be changed. Alex obviously was not a huge fan at first, but I'm glad we did it to get the authenticity down.
That's good. So sometimes that helps to have that collaboration as far as that's concerned.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And again, where can they find Time Grunts?
Time Grunts can be found in local comic book shops, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, the Calibur Comics website, and also if you're into digital comics, on Comixology.
Awesome.
Sweet.
And Bill, with Kinetics, where can they find those?
Yeah, you can find the Kickstarters live right now on kineticcomic.com.
And do you have social media that can link to it as well, or you just have kineticcomic.com and links to it?
Kinetic Comic will take you right to the that takes you right to the Kickstarter. But you can also find me, and feel free to reach out on Twitter, on Facebook. If you look up Y Comics, it's just the letter Y Comics. We're the first thing that pops up on all of them.
Awesome.
There it is.
There you go.
Awesome.
I had a question from the Ask Me Anything from iNDIEVOLT Radio. It's actually another. It's funny. There's another Josh, but he says that your Kinetic cover is just dying for some chromium, Bill. God no.
That's actually something that Jason Metcalf, the cover artist, pointed out. He said, "Man, this would look great on. It would look great with foil or with metal." And
you do a variant. I've seen a couple of other ones from like Sora Sung, for example, with Carnal Confessions, and the concept of doing like a metal, like a solid aluminum metal cover is great, but I feel like you can't read the book in that capacity because they basically glue it onto the actual trade book. Because you're just sitting there holding this piece of metal on one side, making sure that you don't damage the rest of the book while you're reading it. But I think a foil would be a nice like variant edition or like Kickstarter exclusive or something like that. It'd be like
a nice collectible. You get your reader copy, then you get your collectible copies.
But like, we don't sell these at shows. You can only get this through the Kickstarter. Bonus.
Vault actually just did a really awesome local comic shop day exclusive of These Savage Shores that had some gold embossed lettering. It was really beautiful looking. I think Tim Daniel was responsible for the production of that.
Yeah, if you do some spot titling, that'd be pretty good, I think. But that's a whole market thing where we're just noticing what works and what doesn't, what metal works, what doesn't, what materials are sweeping, nonstop, and which one is everybody jumping on. Same thing for book production as far as like, oh, look, it's a matte finish, but it has a gloss cover, simple little things like that. Like what material, like if you've, I don't know how to say this the best way, but like if you compare the papers for like Marvel versus like, DC, but then you compare it to like a DC, like Elseworlds title, like for example, like Curse of the White Knight, like the material on those are so radically different from the actual standard production. It's just little things that you pay attention to while you're picking up books, even if you're not buying for collectability, you're picking it up just to read it, or even a tactile sensation.
Even what Alterna is doing sort of with the pulp style paper.
That's actually my biggest. Well, see, that's my biggest gripe when it comes to indie books. Like, I do love them, but at the same time, I have a issue if you don't do quality control. Like, if you don't go through your books and go, hey, dude, you guys messed this up. I got re-ink on this page or anything like that. Yeah, it sucks, but unfortunately, it's one of those little things that can get to you.
Well, it's an easy
and
problem
it's
to
not
run
just
into.
anybody. True, especially if you're using a cheaper provider, and that's where it comes down to is sometimes cost versus production.
Well, also the printing process lends itself when you're printing newsprint.
Mm-hmm.
It's on a gigantic web press where they literally turn the press on,
Well, newsprint, yeah, you can't control it.
Run
with
it for
newsprint.
like 10, 15 minutes and shut it off, and you got 10,000 books.
Yep, which is
You know?
amazing.
And if they're not on it right off the bat, then everything, the entire line is messed up. And if you go back
The
on
Kinetic
Alterna's,
edition.
if you go back on Alterna's videos, a couple of days back, where Peter was talking about the problems he was having with printing, that's one of the big problems
Oh, for sure.
that he's got is quality control, and the other big problem he's got is trying to get the guys to at the printing factory to not treat it like at the newsprint place, to not treat it as a disposable newsprint, like a newspaper fold in, and actually show it some respect when they put it in boxes, because they've been tears and bumps and all sorts of damages, worse, almost as bad as diamond. So shipping out
And
books.
I don't print on newsprint, but I'm sure you've seen it from picking up like my books. I did use it's a thinner paper, and actually I think going around to volume 2, I'll probably do a little thicker paper because
you're still traveling for your shows too,
Yeah.
so sometimes it comes down to weight in that capacity.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing about sorry to jump in on you.
No,
Ben.
I was going to say the weight helps with the shipping, like when it ships to me too.
Yeah.
I was surprised how much it saved just going down the one tier for the
Paper.
One of the cool things about Calibur, and Eric especially, is he's jumped or is looking at different printers. In fact, he was showing me at when I was at Grand Rapids Con, he had the War of the Worlds book printed again by a different printer, and the blacks were so much more solid, and they stuck on the paper. We didn't have that problem like Josh was mentioning where
Evan's going through his book right now.
with a printing problem.
This is actually from the new printer. This is Time Grunts Volume 2. So yeah, you may not be able to pick it up as well, but I mean, that's pretty sharp.
Yeah, we can see that the page stock is nice and shiny.
Yeah, quality of production. Now, jumping back on that, as far as like Evan, yours is, of course, is the new trade, so it's the brand new edition. Hey, it's a good quality. Bill, with the Kinetic's trade, are you going to be staying with the same paper that you're producing with, or are you going with that heavier stock that you want?
No, I went up with a heavier. I went up with the heavier paperweights, and
okay, so it's got a little bit more premium production quality.
Yeah,
to
and
it.
the card stock for the front is actually it was the second heaviest that I could have gotten, because I think it makes it feel. It's sort of like if you ever have been given a business card, just like the cheapo business card, versus like a little bit thicker one.
I got my cards at Vistaprint.
And you can feel it just taking. You say, okay, it's not flimsy.
Yeah, we used Kablam for production on Johnny Phantasm, and got rave reviews on it. We were very happy with them.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've been looking at them for sketchbooks and things like that, and it's just like, I'm just gonna go with Ready Comics.
Varian, you have anything else?
Yeah. Now, Evan, you're over on at Calibur.
Yes.
Which, if I think if you know indie comics, or especially if you're from the Michigan area, Calibur Comics. Randy's got War of the Worlds at Calibur, right? Randy, that's a Calibur, right? Yeah,
yeah. Like I just mentioned, Eric just went through another printing on that book. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Evan.
Now I use it. Yeah. Well, and Evan gave me the print to Time Grunts, which I have over there. I'm gonna pull it off the thing. I'll bring it up. It's this really shiny print that he did. What size is that, Evan?
That's 11 by 17, and
it looks bigger.
Okay. The artist on that is Brian Silverbacks, who does quite a few variant covers for Scout Comics. I think he's got a Kickstarter coming up called Loggerhead. Okay. But yeah, it was sort of to commemorate my meeting with Andrea Molinari, who I met 2 years ago in Grand Rapids. So to commemorate our friendship and the meeting, I had a special print done featuring my characters and his character, the Shepherd, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, it was very popular at the show, actually.
Now, Bill, on your Kinetic book that you're offering through Kickstarter, are you offering different tiers, different rewards?
Oh yes, there's plenty. There's digital tiers, which are I have one for $9, one for $15, and then the main book is at $30. That'll get you the the actual physical book.
Absolutely, hold that up. So, show it off some.
Vanna White it. Look at that. Look at that cover.
Look at that cover.
There's a nice cover there. Look at that. Look, volume 1. Volume 2 will be in red.
The interior artwork looks good too, though.
And then we got a nice thing with at the very back. There's a cover gallery too, so you can see all the.
So, did you do all your own print setup as far as that's concerned, or did someone else do that for you?
No, it was done through Print Ninja.
Okay.
They're based out of Chicago, but they deal with.
So they do all your layouts and everything as well.
No, they just do the printing, the layout, like the layouts for drawing it, and
like the blue with the black, and then like the back how it has like the the hexagon and things like that.
That's actually my letterer, Lucas Catani.
Yeah, there you go.
Graphic
setup.
Add in all the trade jars. I give him the copy, and then it came out. Like I kind of had the idea to do, hey, let's have this kind of wrap all the way around the deal.
Now,
it works.
It turned out great.
Looks good.
I also have to pick at Evan because Evan, you're. I remember the first time I seen Time Grunts, it was a flyer. I think I got the flyer at Michigan Comic Con.
Okay.
And I looked at it and I thought it was odd because it said Time Grunts is the flyer, but the name of the story is Last Call. And the name of my publishing company
is
Last
wait,
Call
what?
Comics.
Don't sue me, please.
Yeah, that's okay.
Here comes the gnome.
I'm just gonna make a comic called Calibur or something. It'll be fine.
All right.
Oh yeah, that'll work.
We'll trade.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
This one's called 30 Calibur. The second issue is 40 Calibur.
Now, we had mentioned now, Eric, you've got Dreaded Dinosaur. I hung out with Eric earlier today. We did some shopping and went to lunch. What'd you say? Is lunch, Eric? Was that
brunch? Lunch. I had breakfast. You had pastrami. So
yeah.
Eric had eggs with cheese, and then you had pastrami, right?
No cheese, but I did have biscuits.
No
and gravy.
cheese. Ah, there
Eric
it was. It was one of the
complaining.
two.
He said that he really wants to get back to knocking out Dreaded Dinosaur, which I have no art for, especially now. I can't even pull it up. But
oh yeah, because your
Dreaded
computer
Dinosaur
doesn't work.
yeah. What are you when are you expecting to get back to that, Eric?
As soon as Piper is done, I'm going to pretty much say no to anything else that comes in that's not a cover gig. Like if I get cover work, I can turn around in a decent amount of time and do a really high quality product. But sequentials, I'm going to put Dinosaur Man first. Yeah, because it's just a whole different animal with that. And so hopefully February, March, I've got my next episode half drawn, just kind of sitting on my tablet waiting for me to come back to it. And,
Is that my episode or is that a different one?
No, that's a different thing. The script that I sent you is for a crowdfund project where I want to do like 100-page giant omnibus collected stories. I want to get like 3 or 4 different teams and really put together a really cool anthology book. Yeah. And get that out. So that would be late 2020 that I want to try to get that rolling.
Cool.
But as far as
you're killing me, I can't do a deadline and make new art.
No, the main story is going to be is got an ending coming up on Webtoon, and hopefully that'll be done in 2020. Good enough time to start launching this next bigger project for the actual printed book.
Can we see that?
Yeah, there's my character.
That's some nice color. I'm just saying. You see how he uses the magenta to highlight the deep crimson and red, and provides a texturized material with the drool being translucent, so therefore it applies to the same highlight colorings. Am I the only one who notices that kind of stuff?
I do enjoy color a lot.
How come the yellow of his eyes doesn't have multiple shadows like the rest of his skin and everything else? I'm just saying, Eric.
It's more energy that way. It's more of a hard stark contrast.
My eyes just iridescently glow.
Now, have you guys ever, has anybody else besides Eric considered Evan And Bill, you guys considered any type of like webtoon presence for your books or anything?
Not yet. I actually met with the guys at Webtoons at, I think it was Houston, down at Comic Palooza. Got talking with them there. It's a very
yeah, I was talking to them too.
yeah, they're really nice guys. I would like to do something, but just haven't really got that far.
Mm-hmm.
On the horizon for me, I just plan to keep rolling out books with Calibur. We've got Johnny Phantasm possibly on tap with them, which is a really cool story set in a fictional version of Detroit in 1977, sort of a Beetlejuice meets Scarface. Really fun book drawn by Patrick Parnell. And then working on a horror book called Silence with Alex Sanchez, my Time Grunts artist. That's really awesome. Very proud of that work.
Evan likes dark, heavy black shadows.
Correct.
It's a good thing. I say,
I'm gonna go grab
research,
that.
check out
I'm gonna go
Wraith.
grab that image, that print.
All right.
It's kind of that similar area of monsters in the ganglands.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a writer, you kind of learn what your artist enjoys drawing, and that definitely helps a lot towards the quality of the book. And Alex is a huge horror fan. You know, on the side, he does a lot of high-end toy design. So that was right in his wheelhouse. And then Patrick is just, you know, he's taught at Ringling. You know, he went to the Kubert School and has a good concept for film and
fancy.
Yeah, moving layouts. That one actually we do Marvel style, which is pretty cool. There it is.
Where's that print?
Yeah, so that's by Brian Silverbacks. He's out of Georgia. Does variant cover work for Scouts. Awesome guy. He's just starting to do sequential art now.
It's a nice layout. And for those of you listening on the iNDIEVOLT radio, it's basically 6 people running out of it looks like a maw or a mouth of a creature. It could be a cave, kind of like Diamond in the Rough style, but you know it's like a Balrog.
Yeah.
So, but it's got a nice heavy blue saturation tone, and the glow is coming from the creature itself onto the characters.
Yeah. It's sort of to show. You know, I had sometimes as a indie creator, it's frustrating, you know, pitching your book and being rejected. So, you know, that was sort of me, you know, running away from, you know, my sort of demons towards,
I think one of the healthier things I will applaud you for, especially in this interview, is that you're comfortable enough giving people those taglines, which is something that a lot of people kind of fail at when they're promoting their indie books. You're like, hey, what is this book about? And you're like, oh, let me tell you about all the characters and all the back history and all. And like, dude, I just got a beer because I had to go pee and it was right next to the. Can you just tell me, you know, I like the art. Well, okay, I'll just buy it. And you're like, look, it's this meets this. You know, it's Hellboy influenced G.I. Joe meets, you know, Time Cop or Time Bandits. You know, and it's like, you know, a little bit of X-Files. And sometimes it comes down to breaking it down to that one sentence because that's going to be what plugs people. Kinetics, you know, it's you know, it's like an edgier version of you know, hey, it's Incredibles meets Megamind meets, you know, an actual MCU movie. You know, so it's more gritty and more edge. It's not just a kid's movie, but it's like, hey, there's already an established hero and there's somebody trying to create a new one or trying to become the new person when there's all these other people. And we're like, you ever feel like you're the person trying out and trying to become better at yourself and there's somebody better than you? And it just comes to those plugs and like Dreaded Dinosaurs, the same capacity. It's like, you know, you like He-Man, you like Thundercats, this is for you.
Exactly.
You know, you like cat-headed characters. This
Took
is
the words right out of my mouth.
I think
Bill,
I gave you those words actually.
Varian, do you want to throw a link up also for Kinetic and
I will.
Time Grunts?
Here comes Kinetic.
And they'll be linked in the stores will be linked to in the video. So if anyone wants to check out and pick up Time Grunts as well as Kinetic, and we urge you to do so, please do. It's we had a couple days ago, we had a situation a couple episodes ago, we had a situation where a creator got really upset because they felt that someone had taken their comic's name and used it so the comic had the same name slightly. And And when I was looking for your book, I came across another Kinetic,
Oh, there's Bill
and
laughing.
I'm like, yeah, and I'm like,
He sees it coming.
What? Yeah,
No,
I'm like,
as soon as you
what the
started
hell
saying
is
that,
this?
I had no idea. And yeah, there's another one on there, and it's funny too because it's mine's Kinetic Volume 1 Origins, and his is
Yeah.
Kinetic Origins, and I was just like, man, wow.
Yeah,
What, was yours first up there? Your
I
campaign
think
was first, right?
I think my campaign was first, but I think I'm going longer than he is.
Okay. Well, you would think that the fabled gatekeeper at Kickstarter would have said something that, hey, there's two products here with the same title.
No, it was just funny, but at the same time, Kinetic it's common verbiage.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I ever went public, and we took Jason Metcalf posted his stuff on Facebook and said, hey, this is the new thing that Bill's doing. This is Kinetic, and in as soon as he posted that, probably within 4 hours, I had 3 or 4 people who just messaged me and were like, hey. And it was everything from, hey, we have a Kinetic too. Yours looks really cool. Excited for you to be less excited about saying, hey, we have a character named Kinetic. We've copywritten our story. What's going on?
Yeah.
Like if they end up sending you
I
a
think-
cease and desist or something like that, it's like, what was it? Speedball, I think, was a character on DC and Marvel and just about everybody.
No, I told the one who was pretty antagonistic. I just said, hey, I'm like, you please follow up with my entertainment lawyer. Here's his number. And then it's funny because as soon as I mentioned that, it was, well, we don't want to get into a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not
Just
changing it then.
I just wanted to spurg out at you. I mean,
Yeah.
I've used the word dreaded to describe my, deoxyribonucleic acid character.
no, I'm going to use the word lawyer to describe your.
Got
it.
I had
Lawyer?
I had a guy he's I forget his name, but he's Last Call Comics as well. But he does all these anamorphic type characters on Facebook. But he did, I guess, at some point tried to get Last Call Comics from me. It's like, no, it's mine. You can't have it. It belongs to me.
Mine.
But yeah,
Well,
now
In
Evan,
fact, give me your address and we'll send you a cease and desist just to make sure that.
yeah.
Now, I will say this, especially for those listening, as far as that's concerned, there's a lot of independent titles and things that you can register, much like you can with websites. And there will be occasionally, a distributor that'll be like, hey, I want to buy your the rights to your your comic book. And you'll be like super excited, be like, oh my God, someone's going to try and make a movie of my comic. And it'll be like, hang on. They might be just somebody else has a similar idea, and
we're gonna turn yours off and turn
they're just
ours
taking.
on.
Yeah, we're just taking everybody's stuff, and you can't argue and be like, "Hey, I got the 1 year or 2 year or 5 year movie rights." If you ever get a chance, feel free to research Cowboys versus Aliens. Like the amount of writers and comic book artists that have come up with a similar concept, and the amount of people that they bought rights from was ridiculous. And it's just one of those weird things where it's like anything that can be remotely construed to be like, okay, like a teddy bear that fights boogie monsters and stuff like that. You're like, oh my God, it's gonna be made into a movie by 21st Century Fox. I'm like, wait 5 years, see what happens. And like, we were just holding it in case this one thing did take off, so you can't sue us.
Evan, did you?
That's the maudlin terms.
I haven't picked up Time Grunts yet, and I was meaning to come up to the store and get it from you at your store appearance. But I'm pretty sure I can pick it up from you. You're in the area. But when how long does it take you to because it's an ongoing series, right?
Yes.
There's gonna be some more stories of those characters. About how long does it take you guys to get a book out? Because for me, I'm a very slow artist. Is your artist fast? Is he pretty good?
Oh, I mean, Alex is outstanding. I mean, he puts in quality work, and he, can probably do, a page a day if he had to. It comes down to also my financial constraints. So we're usually on, a pace of, 1 page a week in terms of pencils and inks, and then usually Patrick's following behind by 1 issue on the color. We've got volumes 3 and 4 plotted. I'm kind of taking 2020 off from Time Grunts to focus on Johnny and Silence, but hoping to pick back up in 2021 with Time Grunts volumes 3 and 4.
Cool.
And then are we gonna get some more Kinetic from you? Because I seen Bill, you had it looked like you had another campaign you were gonna launch, and then you're like, nah.
It wasn't so much me saying nah as it was just my fans. So in March, I tried to launch a new series called Time Nomad. I was super excited for it. It was going to be a boy and his robot assistant from the future use their time machine to have the best communication ever. That was kind of the quick pitch to it. And man,
Mr. Peabody.
I put it up on Kickstarter, and it failed spectacularly. But I didn't know anything about Kickstarter at the time. I didn't know that when somebody backs your campaign, you can actually send them a message and say, hey, thank you for backing my campaign, which I've been doing for this whole one. But I also got a lot of emails and Facebook messages, not like hundreds of them, but I got about probably a dozen or so that said, hey, this saying, hey, we're not interested in Time Nomad, but when you do more Kinetic, let us know. And so then I thought, well, maybe I have something pretty special with this Kinetic.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I looked at the Time Mad logo. Not a good look. It was. I was like, "What's up with that logo, man?" I needed some more shine. When you look at Kinetic, you're like, "Oh, look at this! Look at this love letter to comics." I know what you were doing. I know what you're doing with Time Nomad. It was a cash grab, wasn't it, Bill? Wasn't it?
No, I was excited for it, and it's funny because the book's done, so I just have to figure out how to get it out there. I don't know if I'm going to just release it online or what I'm going to do with it.
Webtoons.
When you do release
what you got to do is put a little bit of a short story of it in Kinetic as a bonus to wet their whistle and see if it.
Or make a little flip book.
Little ash can 12-pager.
Yeah.
All I'm asking is when you do release it, just do a different logo. That's it. That's all. or else
Spice it up a little.
The tagline is "Let's make history."
More large-breasted dinosaurs. That always works.
What the Rick and Morty did you design here? Bro, come on.
I'm gonna get a logo. I'm gonna get it on a shirt. But
No,
I gotta look at this too now. This is.
I say that as the king.
Oh, you're gonna
of
have to
bad
pull it
logos.
up so that everybody can see it now.
I'm the king of bad logos. Me,
Don't-
I'm personally.
Wow.
Don't be mean
I
to
like
Bill.
the robot. I like the robot.
One of my comics.
I don't know. It was going to be a fun series. I was really excited for it. I was like, man, this is a good. When that inspiration hits you, and then you're like, all right, let's go.
Let's make history.
So would you consider that a learning experience?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that kind of made me say, okay, well, I'm going to refocus on Kinetic Volume 2 now.
Okay.
We've hired back on the artist to do. Done some conceptual sketches just for.
Oh, this is somebody else who made this logo. I was about to be like, dude, what the heck?
Oh yeah, I'm not the logo maker.
Varian, are you digging that up for everybody to see on the video?
I will.
There it
I
is.
will. I'm the king of bad logos. 1 second, give me a minute now.
Oh yeah, that's not the logo I
That's
saw.
not the thing.
No. That was mine. That was one of mine. And let me see here.
And it's funny that the end logo was one
there
that
we
was
are.
redesigned from like an original logo, and that one was actually funny. It was like brought up Rick and Morty. I didn't even think about it. I'd never seen Rick and Morty before I started doing this, and it was like,
No, you're fair.
I'm like, yeah, this is Rick and Morty.
I wasn't
this
even
other
aware
one
the
with the
cartoon
power button?
existed until I was teaching class. I teach cartooning after school. Elementary school kid told me I needed to sit and watch it.
Oh, see, I like this one with the star in it. I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's fine. What is there another one that? 'cause I
Yeah,
don't
if
really
you
have a problem
go,
with
if
this
you
one.
just type
there
in
another
Bill's
one,
name
Varian?
and Time Nomad that's got the robot on the front.
No, I'm talking about this one. Which one are you looking at?
We're looking at the Kickstarter.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
wrong with that one?
I got it up now.
Yeah, what's wrong
Nope.
with that one aside
I
from
don't like it.
The Kickstarter. The artwork looks awesome.
The artwork is awesome. I just got to hassle about the logo. It just,
I I think the only thing I might have tweaked is behind the star. I would have put like a chronometer of some kind with like dash marks. But I mean, other than Wild, I mean, it looks fine. You know, it's like, hey, this is an all ages book.
I'd have extruded it just a little bit, so it's got a little bit of depth. But that's like the only thing I could think of.
I mean, it is already extruded.
Yeah, it's got a little depth to it.
That's more of a bevel.
Expanded out. It's expanded out and dropped 3 inches.
Let the artist
right.
complain.
Yeah. It's 3 pixels.
Now,
to the right.
Here we are overly criticizing Bill's stuff. Come on.
And he's like, "Hey, man, this is something that didn't work."
He's like,
No, man.
I
I think
That's like
it's,
a-
I'm
no,
right
look,
here, guys.
I wouldn't want to bury this and say,
for,
"Oh, this,
for full
this didn't
defense,
exist."
yeah, it's not like my furry stuff from back when I was first learning the color. Like that's some nightmare fuel.
You know, when we start doing drawing casts, what we should do is have Bill back on and make one of the broadcasts redesigning the Time Nomad logo.
Okay, I saw the Rick and Morty one finally.
I just let him have it. You know? What do you
I
think,
like how
Barry?
one portal is slightly lower
Yeah.
and bigger than the other.
That'd be
I
a
think
good
it'd be
idea.
cool. That way we can say it almost be like a lesson in logo building.
And that would be a good idea.
Speaking of drawing,
Again, build it and
casts,
design it. So it's like he's like, I don't care. You know what? Hey, free concept art. I'm all right.
Exactly.
I was going to say, I hope my letterer doesn't see this.
No,
Oh.
we'll just tag them.
Well,
just
it-
tag them in the post.
A
and be
reflection
like,
on
"Hey,
your
man,
your
so
letterer. I'm sure he's doing his best.
When we get him on
Oh,
and have
trust
him
me.
design it simultaneously.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That would be good.
So speaking
You have
of
30 minutes to design a better logo.
speaking of drawing
What we said
casts,
editor.
Barian, do you want to make any announcements yet?
I do. So we're gonna do a drawing cast. Eric is going to be one of the hosts of that drawing cast.
Ooh, who's the other one?
Is that beeping sound? Okay. He's got we're working on names now. Tell me what you guys think. What did we come up with? What did you? I think you suggested, Eric. You had a suggestion for a name.
I'm gonna have to
I was
look at
thinking
our
about drawing-
messages, 'cause-
Bob. Call it Bob.
Bob, call it Bob. Yeah.
Well, here's the concept of the show. Basically, what it is it's a competition where, let's say you get the subject matter is G.I. Joe, but you've got to draw it as a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, or
So Butch Hartman.
so some kind of a shifting of styles as far as the content.
This
Try to hit that style.
As long as it doesn't involve more spinning wheels.
how about the name? How about the name? This meets that.
Not bad.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think somebody suggested drawing blanks at first, but like that's kind of insulting. Drawing blanks.
All depends on who you have on the cast.
But for something like that, it would be a blank cover show. You would have to use blank
Yeah.
covers. That would work.
Yeah.
My brain has
Better than shooting blanks. Better than
you or
Josh is dropping out. He's dropping out. He's starting to
Oh,
mumble.
Oh no, I'm
he's
mumbling.
He's mumbling.
Yeah. I purposely walked away
Evan.
from the microphones.
How come there's no Time Grunts dog tags? I'm getting critical for everybody today.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I think at Grand Rapids, there was someone who was doing dog tags as sort of swag.
Yeah, military.
Yeah,
military. Yeah.
and my editor mentioned that we should do, dog tags as giveaways. And, we've had some cool stuff. We had Johnny Phantasm poker chips, which were really awesome. But, the dog tags are something to look into definitely for next year.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. And now, are you guys moving? Are you guys going to be creating any merch? Besides, I know you both got shirts.
Yep.
Are you guys going to be creating any merch outside of it?
We've got actually Patrick Parnell is working on a Wizard World New Orleans exclusive print that's going to feature the Time Grunts in sort of a Mardi Gras parade scene. So knowing his creativity, it should be a really fun piece. And I went to law school in New Orleans, so I'm definitely looking forward to going back there as a comic creator and sort of show my wares and see what people think and reconnect with some old friends.
Nice. Let's have dinner at Mother's.
All right. Yeah, my old spot was Phillips.
Phillips? I haven't been there.
You don't remember what happened last time, Eric?
What, Mother's?
Yeah.
Well, that seating was pretty terrible. But
I had
still
nothing to do
good
with
food.
seating.
Larry
Were you
Patrick
barred- were you
Higgins says
barred
hello
from the
Team
Anyways.
Niobe.
Bill, I'm assuming you'll be at Wizard New Orleans as well.
Yep, I'll be at New Orleans.
I
Excited.
won't.
I'm excited for it. I had a hell of a time there last year. It was. I remember the first night I was too tired to go out, and then finally I was like, okay, I have to go out. I'm gonna go out. Went out, had a few drinks, and had some fun. It was a fun night.
Hello, Larry Patrick Higgins says hello from Team Niobe, and
Ralph Griffin
Ralph
suggests
Griffin
There you go.
says-
Hourglass in the middle, cracked
Yep.
letters. Yeah.
giant cracked letters with an hourglass in the middle.
But if they're
And then,
creating history, then they have to fix it. That would be applied through the cracks.
Well,
but,
and the other question is, now, Bill, are you gonna have any additional swag for Kinetic action figures?
The action figures and like figurines are really expensive to produce, especially like when you're just doing the first prototype. The first prototype itself, I was like, man, I just wanted to make a small batch of, maybe 50, 100 that I have there. I do have T-shirts, but I'd outside of friends and family at the first probably half a year of shows I did. I sold maybe 2. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna. They're taking up space, and now it's so packed on my table that I'm like, all right, it's just the books.
that's fair.
And may I suggest for Evan and Bill, Time Grunts meets Time Nomad. We'll put them together. We'll create a nice little spinoff.
Little mashup.
Yeah, a little mashup.
Only if we can use his logo.
Yes.
Guest starring Dreaded Dinosaur. There we go.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
on a side note, Bill, I'm going to send you a link through here. Obviously, Evan, everybody can use this, but this is a studio that does the Bucky O'Hare current molds and things like that. But they have some blanks, and they have variant kits, and they're extremely affordable. So if you ever wanted to make your base character, off of this and be like, hey, this is what I kind of want it to look like, then get a 3D scan, makes things a little cheaper. But they have a copious amount of just random extra stuff that you can add to. They also apparently do the Sam and Max ones too.
Yeah, that's really nice. I was looking at a couple of vendors, and the band for the prototypes, it was like $1,500 to $2,000 to do, and I was like,
oh yeah, no, these guys figured it out easy.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, I can't complain because I spent $35 on a Bucky O'Hare toy from them. So, but the base template's great.
I wish
Evan, are you
going
gonna
to
be doing
sell their 3D models that you can mold and sculpt on? That would be amazing.
They do.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Wait, no, not the printed figure, but like the actual 3D model.
Oh, you mean on the computer?
Yeah, something I can load
Okay.
into
you want to
ZBrush.
program
And,
that,
yeah.
Well, you could just go into ZBrush and find that, through D whatever studio that was called, or, there's enough maquettes and characters you can do that with. Not to be that guy.
Evan, are we going to get a G.I. Joe series? Maybe some 3 1/4-inch figures?
That's a possibility. I was actually going to show off our Johnny Phantasm toy packaging.
Dun 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 dun. See, because it has no words, you can still
Pop
scream
up that screen larger.
Go.
Take a look.
Are you doing it?
cool.
Awesome.
Nice.
And there's the sort of 3D mock-up of the figure.
Cool.
nice.
Nice.
I like this character. So is Johnny Phantasm still going?
No, that was a successful Indiegogo that we funded in May. And we're just finishing off getting the last books out now. So, that's one thing we learned was you definitely want to have most of the finished product done when you crowdfund. So we're a little late on delivery, but the quality everyone seems to be extremely happy with.
Larry says, I'm a creator with 6 successful campaigns, and I found you, Rob, the indie devil, Mr. Anderson. Rob, a friend of the show. How's it going, Larry? The 6 campaigns. That's impressive. Let us know which campaigns those were.
Yeah,
We can,
Larry
get
is
you on the
somebody
show.
that we need to have on the show, definitely.
Yeah.
6 successful campaigns. That's not bad. Now, with you guys, what are your next shows?
Well,
I'll
I'm
be-
going to be at WrestleCade this weekend, and then I've got Steel City Comic Con the following weekend, and that's the end for the year.
Cool.
I'll be taking December off, and then I'm doing Wizard World New Orleans in January, and then later in the year, I'll be doing MegaCon Orlando in May.
Bill.
And I'm in the same boat. I'm done for the year, and no shows in December, and then start right up first weekend of January. We're out to Wizard
Where?
World.
Yeah.
Wizard World
Wizard-
New Orleans, and then later in January I have Wizard World Portland.
All right, see you at both.
Josh.
Well, let's see. I don't remember. No, I'm kidding. Actually, so I will not be back into the States until towards the end of January. So I won't be at Wizard New Orleans. But providing everybody gets back and contact me, you'll see me at Wizard Portland. And then other than that, right after that, I believe is Amazing Comic Con Honolulu.
Yeah, I'll be
So-
there.
Oh, cool.
That's my first time back in 4 years since the second year of the show, I want to say, at least. So coming in with a few things, and then after that, there's a couple of small shows, so on and so forth. It's the grind. It's the never-ending grind.
Yeah,
just double-checking to see.
Once we hit March, it's just going to be almost every single weekend until, what,
Pretty
August,
much.
September?
Yep, planets, Lexington, all that other fun stuff.
I don't even care if I make money at that Honolulu show, because I've never been to Hawaii, so I'm just like, all right, I got an extra day ahead of time,
There
and
you go.
I got 2 extra days at the end, so I'm like, yeah,
Yep.
it's fine. It's my
That's the way to
vacation.
do it, because you need at least one day to reset on both sides of it, as far as that's concerned. There's some interesting things to do in Hawaii. I think the zoo is fantastic. I can't stress that enough. I don't think enough people go to zoos and go to museums because they're like, ugh, walking. But like watching their animals in a fairly native habitat, or just noticing like there's a crap ton of tortoises in this museum, or sorry, this zoo. But like just little things like that, like ramen's on point. Anything Japanese in Hawaii is fantastic.
Cobra
But,
Latino
Latino.
says, "Sup, guys?"
I'll be
How's it going,
introducing a large new line of work, definitely in Hawaii, if not at Portland. I just retired probably around 130 plus pieces. So there's suddenly might surprise some people. I got to prove to people I draw more than just playing cards. And like, oh shit. Pardon my language.
Larry Patrick
Larry
Higgins
Patrick
says, "Sure. Once I recover from my surgery, I would love to come on. Awesome to
Sure.
have you on.
Oh, come on. We'll
He's
just
in
put a
bed
microphone
watching
next
the
to you
pain.
while you're laying in bed in ICU.
He's in bed.
What's going
I feel
on?
pain.
I can't feel my arms. No, I kid.
Yeah.
Aloha.
We have so many people that I love having on the show. I'm only hoping that they start allowing me to have more people in at one time.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then my
can you
computer
imagine
works
this Brady
for me.
Bunch style? That would be
Oh my gosh.
insane.
That's just what I was saying.
It's bad enough we're talking over each other right
Of
now. If you imagine like
INDIEVOLT.
triple of it, be like,
Oh my God.
Not just
You don't
that, but
understand.
the real question is who's doing dishes in their background.
Oh, that would be me. I apologize.
There you go.
The maids here. So
That's okay. Just hearing the clanging.
dun dun dun.
anyway, I just watched all 3 episodes of The Mandalorian that are out, and my gosh, that is a great show.
That's what I'm hearing.
I
Larry
didn't
You got
Patrick
to
Higgins
say
says-
hello.
Yep. Go
Go
ahead.
I'm doing a.
You go to
what's it
Hawaii, say hello to Manny for me. He does a book
He does
called
a book
Skunk
called-
Girl.
Oh, I know.
I've
He
heard
probably
Skunk
hangs
Girl.
out with.
I know Skunk Girl.
Pineapple.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar
Yeah.
with it. I know Pineapple Man. Skunk Girl.
Skunk
Pineapple
Girl.
Man. The
I was on
Deadpool.
Indiegogo, if I'm not mistaken.
What the
Now,
fresh? There's. I forgot that there's a lot of variations of this concept. Don't just type it in randomly on your Google.
You know, when they started
Now-
Squirrel
Oh
Girl
my.
at Marvel, it was a natural leap. Anyway,
Now,
Okay.
Bill, you'll be at Motor City Comic Con
sitting
this
here.
year, right?
Yes, they have. As they haven't opened up the applications, but I should be going back there.
No.
January.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, January.
And then
1st.
January,
Evan,
yeah.
you got no choice because you're.
Actually,
Evan, you got no choice but to be there.
Actually, I got MegaCon's usually right around the same time, so I usually opt to do that show instead.
Yeah, MegaCon is the same weekend
April
as
this year.
El Paso. And
Yeah, it's in
something
April
else.
this time. April
There's like
17th.
3 other shows the same weekend. Like 2 of them are fairly large.
Motor City is always that same weekend
much
in
fun.
May. So
Yep.
Isn't it
Second weekend in May.
C2E2 as well for that weekend for MegaCon?
C2E2 switches their dates every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, they keep
Yes,
moving up
They're
earlier
doing
and earlier.
C2E2's last day of February, and then the first 2 of March.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
have
They
fun,
really
have
moved
fun
it up.
driving in that.
Absolutely.
that's Lexington.
That's a crap suit.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Lexington and C2E2. Yeah.
Yeah, now we got what is it? MegaCon stepping over Randy's show. Have either Bill?
I'm
have
real,
you ever
I'm
did
real
Randy's,
worried about a show in Orlando. My one-day show in the farmers market. It's really going to be affected. Outside of just finding guests and
The
hopefully not
donuts
losing
he
very many
gets are
vendors.
amazing, though.
There we go. Donna's always the best.
Bill, being in Seattle, do you go to Emerald City every year?
I just got in this year, and I'm confirmed for next year too.
Gotcha.
Good.
Yeah, that's a tremendous show.
It ended up being. I had horrible placement. They put me in like the very back with the the old comic vendors. So they're selling the Bronze Age stuff, the Silver Age stuff, and I was in between 2 of those vendors, and it was my best show by like 300 books or something.
I was going to say sometimes that can turn out in your favor.
Yeah, no, and I think it did. It was people were coming back and they weren't even expecting the pitch, and then just next thing you know they're like, oh, okay. Like that Friday, there was a good time in the middle where I don't think I talked to anyone who did not buy. It was ridiculous.
Cool.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Varian, anything else?
That is it for me.
Woot.
I will say
We're under.
Hold on. Yeah. Well, the one thing that we got a obviously this will be put on iNDIEVOLT radio at the end of the week. So right now on iNDIEVOLT radio we got 663 people listening.
Cool.
Which is nice. They're mostly in Germany and Mexico right now. So hello to our German and Mexico listeners as well. And then I'm going to put it on iNDIEVOLT TV after the holidays as well. So you can all look at yourselves there and look how pretty we all look. And despite the fact that I had so many different technical errors tonight. Oh, guys.
Oh, I'm just helping.
Don't worry, iNDIEVOLT radio listeners. We all have faces made for radio. So it's all
yeah.
Some of us have voices for silent film too.
Dun.
There we go.
Right.
Now, guys, where can we'll start with Evan. Where can people find you online should they want to connect with you?
Sure. You can find Time Grunts on Facebook. You can find myself, Evan Pozios, on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter. And Johnny Phantasm also has a Facebook page.
Bill, where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. If you look up Y Comics, that's just the letter Y Comics, will be the first thing that pops up.
And of course, Kinetic is still on Kickstarter.
Yes, and Kinetic is still on Kickstarter. It's live at kineticcomic.com, and that's going through the 16th of December. Go check it out. Check out the reward tiers.
Josh, where can people find you?
Oh, well, you can find me in Korea.
No place right now, eh?
Yeah, no better place to be. But you can find me on Art of Josh Lyman on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Everything else is gone. DeviantArts, ArtStation, all that jazz. I had a media purge as far as that's concerned. Twitter, I don't really post art. I kind of just post opinions. And as Twitter should be, and share other people's stuff. And yeah, I post mostly art on Facebook and Instagram. And I do have a YouTube, but all you can find there is a bunch of old 3D modeling animation videos from back when I was in college. Okay. And a stop motion for Clay.
Eric,
the gentleman above him.
Well, my handle is at Dreaded Dinosaur on the social media platforms. I'm primarily pushing my Instagram, but you can find my Facebook page there too. And please go to Webtoon and search for Dreaded Dinosaur Man or just Dinosaur Man and subscribe. I will be getting back to posting regularly on that series.
Punch that notification.
In 2020. I do have a YouTube channel that's a little bit out of date, but there's tons of videos of me drawing the first few chapters of Dreaded Dinosaur Man, so those are interesting to watch. And other than that, touring across the country next year. So hope to see you there and meet you there.
It's a cross country tour for you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Just
Eric
hopping
and
in
I
your
might
car,
try
driving.
to. Yeah, Eric and I might try to do something. We'll figure it out.
Massive road
These things are fairly portable.
Yeah, cool.
Well,
And
I
then,
did
of course-
film for an episode while I was in Wizard World Madison, but somebody hasn't put it together yet and posted it.
Whoever that might
Somebody made a video for Portland, but then he wasn't feeling well at the end of the evening, and I think he forgot about all of the stuff that happened at that particular show. But,
Oh yeah, and also now someone has to get their computer working, because if that doesn't happen, this not looking good for IndieVolt.
Gonna have
You
to,
should have
gonna have
virus
to
protection.
change your batteries.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's
and of course,
there.
Start cranking that up.
my name is Varian Grant. You can find me on social media at Varian Grant. Despite what the chat or the name may say beneath, I am not Lola, aka Tiddalicious.
Tiddalicious.
So you can look for me, at kid_V.
Blacklicious.
Last Call Comics, and of course at IndieVolt, and at IndieVolt.com. Real quick too, Randy, before you give your outro, we want to take a minute because we didn't do it. I don't know if you did it. We'll take a minute.
We just
to,
lost Bill. That wasn't me. Sorry, Bill.
Yeah, we want to take a minute to mention that Howard Cruz passed away.
Throw him back in there.
Fantastic artist.
The passing of Howard Cruz, phenomenal cartoonist, longtime cartoonist, underground artist, creator of Barefoots. The Wendell Strip ran in the Advocate newspaper for many, many, many years and was collected. He was a Eisner, wasn't he an Eisner winner? I believe he was for his graphic novel work that Paradox Press printed. It's a great guy. I don't think there was anybody out there except maybe Virgil Finlay that could come close to his stipple work and hand stippling techniques. So it's just an amazing artist. It's going to be sorely missed. So.
And then Randy, you can give your outro now.
My next show isn't until the Grand Rapids Con. That's coming up in February, end of February. Then April 18th, the Flint Comics Con that I'll be throwing at the downtown Flint Farmers Market. And you can always find me at Zim Geek on the YouTube. Hopefully there'll be new content up there shortly. I'm just about done with a big commercial job. As soon as that's done, there'll be more videos up there on that Zim Geek channel, I promise. And then Facebook, I'm available at Gmail, randyjzim@gmail.com. The Flint Comics Facebook page is still up there for anybody that wants to communicate off of that, or you can reach me on Facebook, or I'm on the Twitter also as Randy Zim. So,
Booyah.
And then if anybody is interested, of course, you can always check out IndieVolt TV on your Roku. It is free, streaming 24 hours, 7 days a week. A bunch of indie movies. Over the top network we created just to make sure that we can get the word out about, and let people be exposed to independent directors, script writers. There's also some original content coming to that network very, very soon. And then, because I'm very slow with doing this today, IndieVolt Radio, which is we talked about. IndieVolt Radio is a app that you can download from Google Play or on iOS on Streamer. Listen to independent music all day long, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Download it, give it 5 stars. And then
Repeat.
If for some reason you want to write into us and get your question picked on, you can at IndieVolt Live at IndieVolt.com. Include IndieVolt Live in the subject field, and please keep those emails to 90 words or less. And maybe, just maybe, Randy we'll read them on the air.
And we will answer your question.
To the best of our ability. We are
To the best-
the
best of our
we are the
ability.
industry's most educated panel, after all.
If not, then we're the most willing to be educated.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be
All
back
right, guys,
on
we wanna make
Thursday morning at 9 a.m. At least
Yep.
Varian and I will be there, and Bill and Evan and Josh and Eric. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I'm glad this worked. So, know the international, waters of internet still work. So,
Yeah.
You're not fooling us. You're just at the motel up the street. Yeah, that's why you.
yeah, totally.
I'm from Korea, everybody. Look, I'm in, yeah.
Here I am. I'm in Italy. Oh.
Do
You guys
not
have
see
a
the
moment,
green
you should
screen.
check that out on internet. This influencer, she basically green screened photos of herself where she was into photos poorly, and so she lost a lot of money and a lot of clients.
That must be Evan's friend there. Hello.
Yes.
Hello,
My,
Evan's
my,
friends.
my underpaid assistant.
Underpaid. Yeah, we'll have those. Yep.
All right, we
This is
want to
where
thank
something
our
gets thrown
audience
at
for
them.
watching us. Check back in here Thursday morning at 9 a.m. For the IndieVolt Breakfast Buzz, and then again next Tuesday as we do this without my computer messing up. It's gonna be awesome.
Sure.
Is there going to be a Thanksgiving special on this Thursday morning breakfast buzz at 9 a.m.?
It will be. It will
Gobble,
be.
gobble.
Me and Randy are gonna go off what we're thankful for.
Well, if
You're gonna
nothing
draw
else, you can
turkeys.
listen to two turkeys.
Yeah.
They're gonna draw
Yeah,
hand
yeah, yeah,
turkeys.
Yeah. I'm thankful for prepaid legal
It'll be
services
great.
here.
Take this hand turkey gesture and turn it into a real turkey. There
you go.
Nope, I'm out.
All right, thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you for watching. We're gonna roll our outro. It's the same as our intro. Yep. All right, guys. Everybody stay safe and have a wonderful holiday.
Bye.
Take care.
Take it easy.
Happy
Get